Life Before Man, written by Canadian author Margaret Atwood in 1979, is a contemporary novel set in 1970s Ontario, Canada. It takes inspiration from 19th-century novels of manners and delves into the intricate interpersonal lives of its main characters, exploring their moral beliefs. The story revolves around Elizabeth and Nate, a couple trapped in a failing marriage, and Lesje, Elizabeth's co-worker at the Royal Ontario Museum, who is engaged in an affair with Nate. Atwood places a particular focus on Lesje's fluid identity, free from the constraints of societal norms and influenced by her diverse family heritage. Lesje grapples with a sense of alienation as she navigates through life. The novel raises existential questions about the necessity of societal structures and narratives for finding happiness. This contemplation is encapsulated in the provocative title, Life Before Man, suggesting an exploration of humanity beyond the prevailing biblical narratives. The narrative unfolds through the perspectives of Nate, Elizabeth, and Lesje. The story begins in the autumn of 1976, with Elizabeth mourning the recent suicide of her lover, Chris. Overwhelmed by grief, she questions the meaning of her life, feeling akin to a vulnerable creature, akin to a peeled snail. Although Elizabeth and Nate maintain an open marriage, their physical intimacy has waned. Nonetheless, they have an agreement to disclose their extramarital affairs to each other. Elizabeth, for reasons she can't fully comprehend, had kept her relationship with Chris a secret, and now feels incapable of seeking support from her husband. Elizabeth and Chris met at the Royal Ontario Museum, where Elizabeth is involved in special projects and Chris worked as an assistant paleontologist. Prior to his tragic suicide, Elizabeth decided to end the affair, explaining that she couldn't fully commit to a deeper relationship with Chris while still married to Nate. In Life Before Man, Elizabeth carries a burden of guilt for Chris's suicide, which intensifies her grief. In an attempt to salvage their marriage, Nate ends his relationship with Martha, hoping it will bring him closer to Elizabeth. However, their efforts only result in a shallow and joyless existence, mimicking the routines of marriage without genuine connection. Nate's path crosses with Lesje, and they embark on an affair, leading Lesje to break up with her boyfriend, William. Eventually, Nate and Elizabeth mutually agree to divorce. Towards the end of the novel, Lesje reveals that she has stopped taking her birth control pills and is now pregnant. Dissatisfied with the difficulties and tensions of her new life, she yearns to reunite with William. Nate abandons his career as a woodworker and returns to corporate law to support both of his families. Elizabeth finds herself trapped in an emotionally challenging state. She is not lonely, but rather single and alone. She makes an attempt at intimacy but ends up engaging in frivolous activities with a partner in an empty parking lot, reminiscent of teenage behavior. Ultimately, none of the characters in Life Before Man find true happiness. Atwood suggests that modern life is destined to disappoint, as individuals forsake intimacy and the binding institutions that hold them together, groping in the darkness for a lost sense of meaning. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.